Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a DBD discussion video. The latest updates on what will happen in the mid-chapter patch has had people very passionate, so to speak. Uh, these have been some of the most aggressive comments I've received under my videos when talking about it. Everybody on Twitter has been rather passionate, so to say, and everything usually like negative feedback doesn't make me think too hard, but I give things a moment to settle down. And with the upcoming patch, after we've seen some of the changes get walked back on, I'm now wondering what really changed. Don't get me wrong, before anybody on either side is like, oh my gosh, give it a chance. We're not going there. I'm not saying that it's bad. No, no, no. In fact, I still think everything's good. Because for somebody like me, who doesn't use gen regression as a crutch to play the game, I'm perfectly fine. And if I have to worry about DH a little bit less, guess what? Me on my main, I am going to be eating. Honestly, frankly, any of the characters I play. Um, Cenobite, I think I'm starting to play Knight more. Nemesis, won't have to worry about hitting somebody 4 times just to play the game, right? I'm going to be perfectly fine. And I think that ultimately, I think nothing changes for me, unfortunately, at the same time. Because, mind you, I guess I'll use Gearhead because it got changed. But looking at my builds and some of the things that I'm going to have to tweak and change, to old videos of, oh, the best build and, oh, the best user and da 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 da. uh, Nothing, nothing's different for me. Gearhead, I wasn't really using Aura on most of those best builds. I go for lethality. Um, I'm not going to slap on Ruin or Pain Res just to say, hey, still okay. I try to show people that you don't need those perks at all to win the game. And with, yeah, medkits will take a hit, so Franklin's will be even better, right? Beyond that, we're going to have the same game. At least I will. But at the same time, despite all this, the reason I'm making this is because I think we might have a more skillful game. I think when everything's said and done, the player base, the ones that don't boohoo and cry and make a mess of themselves all over the floor with everything per usual, should, in theory, get better. You'll have less baby bad guys relying on things like Call of Brine, uh, Overcharge, and the entire gen kick situation like Eruption already got changed. But things like that. Hopefully, we see less of that, and that's what everybody wanted. They wanted less gen kick meta because it felt bad if you didn't have it on, and it feels bad to have it on for the other side, right? And then on the side of survivors, yeah, DH will be less prevalent. And if you saw my last video with 3 Circle of Healings, that probably won't happen either. So that's a win, but unfortunately, there's not enough new to balance out losing the old, in my opinion. What's good about making a new meta is that, yeah, you change what happened to the things at the top, right? Yeah, Nurse has actually a slight buff in this update coming up, but she's different now. You make it so that she can't benefit from basic attack perks because her blinks are special attacks. And guess what? You don't see them using Starstruck Agitation and sending everybody to um, Midwich anymore, right? Like, that's a change. And now I see people are up in arms calling for spirit add-ons to get changed. Don't get me wrong, yeah, they're some of the better ones in the game, but they're putting it on the same tier as Blight add-ons, which that's a different can of worms. I don't see how you can even remotely put those together. Why? Because they're strong. But what I've talked about for a long time is that you can't just nuke the strong things and not make other things better. That's not how you sustainably balance overall. I've talked about it before on this channel, but I used to be into Apex. And what happened to Apex that you'll find is that a lot of the quote-unquote pros and people that knew better than the general public just kept complaining about things being too strong, so the devs nerf it, but then you don't really replace things that should be up there as often, right? Every time something has a semblance of hope, it gets nerfed. So with this latest update, that's one of the things that I'm worried about, as I've talked about before. Yeah, you hit the strong things, but nothing changes for me. I don't have new toys to play with. I wasn't playing Blight with Compound 33 and Alkring and 3-gen kick perks. Nothing changes for me. So, to that extent, I'm a bit disappointed, but I am happy because if everybody gets better, because now the bad guys aren't relying on camping one person while kicking in a gen over and over within a 3-gen, maybe they actually finally walk away from the gen and learn how to do things like hug tech or whatever you may be. You say hug tech is broken. I don't care. It's still something interesting that not even some experienced bad guy mains can do. This is something that after you've put in time to this character, you learn how to do and you get rewarded for it. Or using Oni to flick with over 90 degrees. Things like that. That takes skill. So hopefully, with changes that have been implemented, even including walking back on Billy, you get more skill within this game. But at the same time, if people don't have to do things like wait for DH, like they think they do, people will just swing. And maybe use their abilities less. Who knows what we'll see on that front. Or on the flip side, the people that actually still bring DH will have a good rate of using it because people aren't expecting it anymore. I know if I'm chasing you with Trickster, and I'm just like, well, I don't need to wait for the ultimate perk to pop up in my face anymore. Well, guess what? You can hit me with it, and I'll be sitting there like, oh no, I'm starstruck in the lights. But beyond that, I just want to know what changes. This is a very good thing for DBD in the long run, but in the short run, I really hope that the anniversary kind of knocks our socks off. I gotta admit, there isn't much in the patch after the walkbacks, because everything in the end is just nerfs and a change to a few things that people weren't using. Like I'm not realistically, I'm letting you know right now. Yeah, I can make a blindness build for Freddy. I could do that. And then I'll tell you, oh my gosh, blindness add-on plus fearmonger, and they'll never see you. Oh my gosh, you're Freddy. and you will see at least 3 YouTubers probably do this build because whatever, right? But what does that do? Freddy still is very, very meh, very meh, very great, and yeah, he can play the game a little bit longer because yeah, I don't have a because. So we're just going to assume that gen kicking is going to not be needed because people are going to be healing technically slower and have less tools to do so. I don't know. You get the point. But and this is purely an attempt at balance without balancing, if I'm being honest. It's just a bunch of nerfs with no realistic upsides besides for, I guess now you can say, Billy. Am I going to magically learn how to play Billy? Probably not. But for those of you that do, best of luck to you. So yeah, tell me your thoughts. That's where I am on this patch. I'm not upset that the patch is happening. Let me just make that perfectly clear before I get those comments again. I'm not upset that the patch is happening. I'm just upset that it's only really nerfs and no real buffs besides Billy and Gearhead. Like, I don't... what are we going to do with that? So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment from me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.